What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Bronx Pinstripe Show. Do not worry. I'm not going to talk about Aroldis Chapman embodying Clay Holmes last night in the ninth inning. Because I promise we'll talk about that at a later date. Today, I've got Logan and Ilya with me. Scott is not able to join. We are going to be doing a little something to honor the All-Star game and the fact that the Yankees had a bunch of All-Stars voted in this year. And we're going to be drafting, we've come up with like this draft system of Yankees All-Star seasons dating back to, what's the earliest year you have in here, Ilya? It's in the 80s, right?
1980.
Right, 1980. Going way back, and I think that's good. That's going to span. None of us on this call remember the 80s Yankees. I guess if we had Scott here, even though he was born in 1980, so that wouldn't really be anything either. But I am curious to see if Logan specifically picks a lot of players from the 2010s, if I lean towards the 90s guys, and Ilya, you're kind of like a hybrid between us. I think you're in your late 20s, so
yeah.
I don't know what teams you identify with most. Probably the 09 team.
Yeah, 09, 2000s, 2010s.
Yeah, and I mean, Logan, what team would you say you identify with most?
Probably 2009, if not 2017.
2009.
Like,
yeah. Hopefully it's this year, right?
Really.
hopefully it's this year. But okay. And then obviously I'm a 90s baby, so I love those 90s teams. So we've got a bunch of All-Star seasons to go through. We already preset the draft. Remind me of the order.
I have it as Ilya first, then me, and then you, Andrew.
Okay, and it's going to be a snake draft, and we're all going to be filling out rosters, so the 9 starting positions plus a relief pitcher. We're not going to be doing DH. And the stats that we're referencing are first half stats, because that's what you get voted into the All-Star game with, which I have heard people talk about how that's kind of silly and how they could change that to where it's your second half stats from the previous year plus your first half stats, but I think that would just get way too convoluted and way too confusing. So it's first half stats here that we're going to be talking about. But I think it would be also cool, as we're picking these players, to talk about why you're picking that player other than just the stats, right? Like, stats are easy. Oh, this guy has a 150 OPS plus. That's really good. I'm picking him. Maybe there's something you remember from that season. Maybe they did something spectacular that season that you are picking him because of that. No, if you don't have an extra reason, it's okay. But that's the deal. All right. So, Ilya, why don't you kick it off?
Oh, boy. Well, the nice thing about this exercise is that you can't really lose because they're all All-Stars.
No, there will be a loser, by the way. There will be a clear loser. We are going to put this out on a graphic on social media, and the internet will shame the loser. That's how the internet works.
All right, that's fair. Number one, because it's got to be talked about. I'm going to take Jeter from 99.
That's the best year. That's the year.
Yeah.
Damn it. That's the year.
It takes the year off. But okay, so Jeter is like the only true shortstop on there besides Bucky Dent in like 80 and 81, I think. And honestly, Jeter has a ton of All-Star appearances, but statistically they're not all there. Most of them. Now, I'm not a Jeter hater myself. I think it goes to show just the impact he had on the game, which I think is cool. And then, I mean, if you just look at that year, he has it there statistically too. He obviously wasn't doing it in 2014, 2012, in the All-Star game. But to have a batting average there, 371, 454 on base, 611 slugging, 1.065 OPS from Jeter.
The 99 Jeter season is his best year. He has a real case. He finished 6th in MVP voting that year. I've actually written blogs about this because he got snubbed on, I think was it the 06 MVP when Morneau or Mauer or Morneau, one of those guys, beat him out. And everyone points to that 06 season as the year that Jeter should have won his MVP because he finished 2nd. 99, I think he had a legitimate case to be the MVP. So this is how the MVP 99 finished in voting. Ivan Rodriguez, Pedro Martinez, Roberto Alomar, Manny Ramirez, Rafael Palmeiro, then Derek Jeter sixth. The only player on the list to have better WAR than Derek Jeter was Pedro Martinez, and obviously Pedro Martinez was a starting pitcher. Pedro had a 9.8 WAR. He had a 2.07 ERA in a league that had like a 5 ERA. Okay, so it was freakish. He probably should have won Cy Young and MVP. I think just voters didn't do that back then. They would look at the traditional home run RBI numbers, and just that would be the guy that would get the vote.
Yeah.
Ivan Rodriguez, he was also a catcher. Fantastic season. He hit 332 with 35 homers and 113 RBIs. But Derek Jeter was the best position player in the league in 1999. I think he has a legitimate case to have won that MVP. He finished with a 349 batting average, so I guess he came down in the second half, but he was the best player on the best team in baseball. He should have won it, and yeah, that's a good first pick, Ilya.
No, it's the only first pick because of how shallow shortstop is. Okay, so I'm strategically going to go with this year because we can't repeat years. I don't know if we mentioned that, but on our team...
We didn't say that, yes, to make this challenging.
On our team, we cannot repeat the same year. So Ilya picked 1999 Jeter, he can't pick another player from 1999. And nobody else can pick Jeter again. So I'm going to go 2007 A-Rod. 2007, not particularly a great year for the Yankees, but man, was he really good. I mean, it seems like, Judge is chasing some of his records from that year. He had a 184 OPS plus, 1.075 OPS, 30 home runs before the All-Star break. So, I mean, 86 RBIs. I mean, how good of a year is Judge having? And he has like 65. So, I mean,
yeah.
Totally freakish. And honestly, shortstop and third base since 1980 have been kind of shallow for the Yankees. They haven't been the center field, the right field, the first base. Even the second base is pretty loaded. So I think it's got to be 07 A-Rod.
All right. So I guess the 99 Jeter, I didn't think he was going to last to the third pick. That was going to be my first pick because it's the best season. I guess now I have to be strategic about what I do here and pick years that aren't going to screw me in the long run. So I'm looking at, I think I'm going to go with Don Mattingly in 87. And he had a 158 OPS plus, 336 batting average, 406, 569 was his slash line, 14 homers, 60 RBIs. I wasn't born in 87. Couldn't tell you a damn thing that happened in 87. I know the Yankees weren't very good. I know it wasn't Don Mattingly's best season because he didn't win the MVP that year. I think he won the MVP. It was 85 that Mattingly won the MVP. In 85, he had a 135 OPS plus at the break. So I guess he really turned it on in the second half. But I am going with 87 Don Mattingly as my first pick. And if someone older were here, he could tell me something about that season. But I don't know. Oh, I get to go again, right? Because it's a snake draft.
Yep.
All right. So next up, this is another strategic pick because I think this is not going to be a year that is going to really be picked a lot or if even at all. 2011 Curtis Granderson. Curtis Granderson was a beast that year. It was his by far best season with the Yankees. At the break, he had 25 homers, 63 RBIs, and a 160 OPS plus. 269, 361, 575 batting average. That was the year Granderson really, really broke out. The Yankees traded for Granderson in 2010. He struggled. And then I remember reading a lot about how he changed his swing and his stance in that offseason to be a lot more compact and simple at the plate. And obviously it paid off. 2012, he was really good again. Not quite as good as 2011. But 2011, the Grandy man was arguably the Yankees' best player.
Yeah, he was good for a while. And it was just like, I mean, he had like that 3-year stretch with the Yankees that was like, this guy. Where do I want to go here? Maybe I'll grab an outfielder. So, looking at these numbers, 1998 Bernie Williams was an absolute beast. And I think he might be the best outfielder on the board. I mean, you can make a case for a couple other guys, but I'm going to go with 1998 Bernie Williams here. He had a 323 he had a 353 average going into the break. 179 OPS plus, 10 home runs, 44 RBIs. Really good, good defense, switch hitting, everything that we like. And that was his best season with the Yankees, I think, 1998.
Yeah, and the Yankees obviously best team in baseball in '98. Bernie best player on the best team that year. That was probably the last year that Bernie was the best player on the team. He was really good in 99, 2000, 2001. His fall off, I think, started in like 2003-ish.
Yeah.
But I think this 98 and then obviously 99, we just talked about how Jeter was the best player on the team. So yeah, this is a good pick.
All righty. Those are all good picks. Curtis Granderson was fun. He was a lot of fun when he came over. I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think he wasn't a big power bat over in Detroit.
I don't think so.
Well, Detroit also, I remember the talk was like, oh, he's got a lot of triples because Detroit is a pitcher's park, so those triples will turn to homers at Yankee Stadium, and part of that was right.
Something was right there. All righty.
Because everyone assumes that a triple falls 5 feet from the wall.
Of course, that's how it works. This is purely about distance. I'm going to go into the outfield too, just because you guys took two of them away from me. I got to go with 2017 Aaron Judge. He was just ridiculous. That was unbelievable what he came up and did. 329, 448, 691, 30 home runs. That's where he's at now. 66 RBIs, 1.139 OPS, and a 201 OPS plus in the first half.
Yeah, he unfortunately went into that skid in August of that year.
Yeah.
Home run derby, hurt his shoulder. And then I believe it was right around the All-Star break that he dove into the camera, like over the Fenway Park wall, camera well, or like into the stands. Did that also happen around the All-Star break and cause some injury? And he was pretty terrible that month in August of 17, and he still finished with gaudy numbers. But yeah,
it surprised me to see that 2017 was at this point was this much higher than this year. Yeah. I guess it's really that average that gets him.
We talked about this a few weeks ago on the pod, right? How we thought this year was better than 17, and I guess Judge has been in a little bit of a mini slump the last couple of weeks, right? So that's going to bring down his numbers. But I'm curious, could you look up quickly what his WAR at the break was in 17 versus what his WAR is at the break this year? Because it might still be higher this year. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Give me a minute on that.
Assuming, everyone goes by WAR as the end all be all, which it's not, but I'm just curious. It's also adjusted to the league. So the league is, I would say the league is less offensive now this year than it was in 2017.
Definitely.
448 on base percentage in 17 though.
Yeah, he had
insane.
I think I saw. I don't have it. I have it right. 201 OPS plus, 101% better than league average. I mean, that's when that number starts with a 2.
Double the average.
When that number starts with a 2, that is special. Okay, so.
Yeah. I think that's the highest OPS plus of anyone on here.
201.
Just to put it into perspective.
Probably, yeah.
So maybe we shouldn't have glossed over that. That
yeah,
season,
no, you're not wrong.
And gone with Jeter.
So I think I'm gonna go to another shallow position.
Hold up, it's a snake, right?
Oh, you go again.
I got pick.
No.
Easy now. I'm going catcher.
Steal it right out from under me.
Pick him.
Do it.
Pick him. Do it. Say it. I know you want to say it.
Well, now I feel bad. 2000 Posada.
That's the right year.
Did you have a
No,
different year?
I didn't. I had him.
Any arguments there?
I had him at 2000.
Posada just absolutely snubbed for the Hall
Totally.
of Fame. Didn't even
Totally.
make it off first
Same
year
thing
of
with
eligibility.
Bernie, though.
He was same thing with Bernie, but Posada, you look at his numbers in the 2000s, best offensive catcher over that stretch from 2000 to 2010. I'm sorry, if you're the best offensive catcher for a decade, you cannot make it. You have to make it past the first year of Hall of Fame eligibility. So I don't know what the voters. I don't understand the Hall of Fame voting sometimes. I'm not saying he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, but he's not a don't even get 10% of the vote or whatever the hell it is kind of player.
Yeah, his offensive statistics are just absolutely insane. It's just, and then what he meant to the team, what he's done, I was looking this up the other day, or when we were doing this. Joe Mauer, career WAR on Baseball Reference is 55.2. Posada's is 42. So it's 10 points lower. But look at what Posada did for the team and all the rings and all the All-Star appearances. I know Mauer obviously had the accolades and has the WAR, the MVP. He has an MVP.
Yes,
And,
he does have an MVP, and
I get it.
like, listen, Mauer was a better player. And when you just talk about primes, right? Mauer was a better player, but that doesn't
100%.
mean Posada wasn't amazing. I think another thing that hurt Posada was that he didn't have the 3 or 4 year DH tail at the end of his career, where he could just amass some more numbers to make it look a little bit more sexy for the Hall of Fame, right? Like, say he was the Yankees DH for 3 seasons and hit 22 home runs a year or something like that. That's another 60 home runs that he would have added to his career totals that I think voters would have, for whatever reason, that makes voters more likely to say yes on you, which is silly, but that's just the reality of it.
Yeah. Now I'm not comparing Posada and Mauer. I just don't think that the difference between the two
that's
of them
a
is
fair
that.
comparison.
I don't think the difference between the two of them is that large. That I think Mauer is going to be pretty. He's considered to be top catcher of his time.
Yeah. It's a fair comparison. They're contemporaries. I mean, when was Mauer's first season? 04-ish, right? So
04.
Came a little,
Yeah, it was 04
came
to
a little
18.
bit after. Posada was the bridge between the 90s guys and the Mauer era. But Posada,
He was really good.
all
Really
right,
good.
Logan.
Hot really
take
good.
there.
Yeah, hot take. I have a lot of hot takes. No. So I don't know. Now we're in kind of a weird spot because we're in that middle area. Hold on 1 second. So I feel like I can't go that position yet. Should I do something crazy? So, okay. So,
Yes, you should.
so the Yankees have,
Crazy.
since we have the number since 1980, basically, they have some All-Star catchers. Not that many. And I don't really want Mike Stanley on my team. So I'm going to go with 2019 Gary Sanchez, which we totally
Nice.
oh, I have to. I love
Good.
this guy. We totally all glossed over when he was doing that he had 24 home runs at the break, an 871 OPS. In my head, when I was looking at his years, I went, 2017 hands down. No, he was better in 2019 up until the break. He just kind of had a meh second half, so his overall numbers don't look as good. He had a higher OPS than he did in 2017. Both 127 OPS plus, so I guess they're similar. He did hit for a higher average, but and he got on base at a little bit higher of a clip in 2017. But hit just about double the home runs in 2019 than he did in 2017 at the break, with 24 as opposed to 13. So, Gary, we all love him or hate him, but that's pretty good. I mean, even Posada, his most home runs going to the break was 17. I know home runs aren't everything, but Sanchez was a prolific home run hitter. That's all he was good at.
So what happened in the second half for Gary Sanchez in 2019?
I'm gonna look it up.
Because I feel like that's when it turned for him, right? Did he get injured?
He wasn't. I mean, I don't think he was hurt. I mean, I think he was around if I remember correctly. 2019 splits. Oh, great. Baseball reference.
Because you're right in the fact that no one sort of talks about how he was a pretty elite offensive player in 2019. As you said, comparable, if not better, than his 17 season, which was his best full season.
Yeah, I think the first half. I mean, I remember when we were watching him in 20. First half, second half. Here we go. So. Nope, this is 2022. 2019. So his second half numbers were he had 10 home runs, 20 RBIs, 16 walks, a 207 average. Doesn't have any.
Yeah, I mean, so how many games played did he get hurt?
He did. He only played 38 games.
Hurt.
So that would be kind of, and he only hit 207. I think he had that. Wait, actually, I have it right here. Yeah, July he hit 102. He had that really bad month. And then even August, he really picked it back up. I mean, he had 8 home runs, 261. He was, he's streaky. I mean, that's what Gary Sanford is. So, a little bit of controversy on my team. We like that. We have A-Rod and we have Gary. So.
All right. I got back-to-back picks here. I'm going with 2 non-controversial picks. First one, 94, Paul O'Neill. This is the year he won the batting title. At the break, he was hitting .382 with a 186 OPS plus. Unbelievable. Paul O'Neill was my favorite player in the 90s. Every time he punched a cooler, it made me smile. So that is why I'm going with Paul O'Neill in 94. And then for my next pick, I am going with 2007, Jorge Posada. You're right, Ilya, to pick 2000.
Wait a second.
For
we're not repeating players here.
Yeah, what do you mean?
Ilya already took Posada.
We said we can't take a different version of the same guy.
We said we can't take the same. You can't take the same season.
That is not how.
We said we're not. We said from the beginning that we weren't going to take multiple. Once a guy's off the board, all versions of him are gone.
Oh,
I think we'd all have the same. We'd all have Jeter. We'd all have Posada.
Okay, so. Do we have enough players to fill this out?
We do.
Yeah, we do. You're just getting into who's there?
All right,
Russell Martin.
No, I'm not taking Russell Martin.
Come on, take Mike Stanley.
I'd rather put myself at catcher. I don't even think we have enough catchers. Then.
You got our favorite guy from this year. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'll let someone else take them because there's got.
We both picked catchers, so you can.
We're done.
There.
Right. So then I don't need to take a catcher right now. I can take him with my last pick. I already filled out my outfield, right?
No, you have 2. You have Granderson and O'Neill.
Okay. I will take. Oh man, this is a lot harder now. I totally misunderstood the rules. I'll take 88 Winfield looks pretty good. 87 OPS plus. Another year I wasn't alive for.
That was my number 2 pick behind Judge for outfield. So, congratulations.
Yeah, Dave Winfield, Derek Jeter's favorite player growing up. So he must have been good.
It's one way to do it. So you picked O'Neill and Winfield. You went back-to-back outfielders.
Yeah, so my outfield is done.
Yes, it is. So, I mean, the Yankees have a lot of good outfielders, so we kind of don't, do I want a first baseman? So, because the other positions are so stacked, I'm going to do something like I did at catcher. And I'm going to be, oh, I made a mistake. No. So... Are we going to consider Gleyber Torres as a shortstop?
I don't think we can.
This is going to be problematic then.
Sorry.
So,
I think considering it's Jeter and then Bucky Dent, I don't even think there are 3 shortstops. I was saying for the sake
maybe we make an exception and we all get to pick Jeter for shortstop.
Listen, I'll shift A-Rod over to shortstop if that's what we got to do.
Derek Jeter shortstop. But it has to be a different decade. So
Okay.
Ilya picked the 90s. Logan, you have to take the 2000s or the 2010s, and then I'm left with what's ever left.
Okay. Well, then it becomes really, really important that I take Jeter now because I think he was an All-Star in 2010 though, but it wasn't a very
He was an All-Star in 10, 11, 12, and 14. He just wasn't very good.
so ridiculous.
Hey, 12, he batted 308 now. Come on.
Well, I think
I think in 2012, so both 2011 and 2012, he had very good second halves. 2011, his numbers look so shit because he was slumping as he was trying to get his 3,000th hit. After his 3,000th hit, he was on fire for the rest of the season.
I think if we're gonna do that, I think I have to go Jeter here. Now I just want to double check. So 2006 was his monster year. So I think I'm going to go 2006 Derek Jeter. Was very comparable to 2007. I mean, they were almost identical seasons, 134, 135 OPS plus. Jeter hit for a little bit higher of an average in 06, and then he ended up going on to be second in MVP voting. So that kind of, even though that's not the exercise, that kind of just swayed my opinion. So I'm going to go 2006 Derek Jeter because, obviously.
Okay. I'm up, right? Or no?
No, I think I'm
Ilya's
up.
up.
Alrighty. What do I want to do? 2 picks. I'm going to go... first base. I'm going to do Jason Giambi, 2002.
Giambino. That was his first year with the Yankees, right? And he got off to a slow start. So the fact that he made the All-Star team.
Yeah. Well,
after a slow start.
at the half, 319, average 430 OBP, 602 slugging.
Was that the year he did the home run derby? And he won the home run derby? I think he won the home run derby that year.
I think that was 2002. Yeah.
Yeah.
22 home
I mean, he
runs,
was-
71 RBIs. He was
a
nuts.
monster. He was such a monster offensive player for the first basically 6 seasons with the Yankees. I know he was hurt a lot, steroid-related problems, but but he was still a monster offensive player.
He was one of
what's
those
your
fun, just 2000s guys. There's just
Sure.
those group of them that are just you
Always
know,
sweaty.
Yep.
Willing to grow a mustache. Would famously, I think, or I can't remember if this was him or his brother, would after wins dance in a man thong. I don't know.
I don't know about that one.
What's your next pick?
Next pick. I guess I'm gonna go third base, just because I don't really like too many of the choices left on the board. There aren't that many. It's another one of the shallow positions. I'm gonna do 94 Wade Boggs, 331, 430, 485, 916 OPS. So he's not hitting for power in 94 or ever really. He wasn't much.
He
of a
never
power
hit for
back.
power.
But you know, there aren't too many behind him, so I'm gonna grab him while he's still there.
All right.
So it is
Logan.
my turn, and I don't know. I mean, I honestly think that relief pitcher throughout this time period is full of really good options, right? And just something when you have Mariano Rivera on your team that just makes sense. His best season, I mean, look, his
best season, he was not an All-Star.
but his best All-Star season. Let me rephrase. I think it's 2008. That 106 ERA, 23 saves, 50 strikeouts at the break. But I mean, how do you have a wrong option? In 05, he had a 101 OPS. I mean, a 101 ERA with 20 saves. I mean, in 2010, he had a 105 ERA. Like, this is just what he was. I'm gonna go 2008 Mariano. Similar to the reason that it's just another year that you're not gonna stumble into. It's not gonna hurt me. So.
Cool. All right, I got 2 picks. I'm going pitching back to back. I'm taking Andrew Miller in 2016, 137 ERA, 15.8 strikeouts per 9 inning, and a .7 WHIP. He was absolutely filthy. And then for my next pick, I'm going with 2018 Luis Severino. That was he was absolutely dominant in the first half. We were all excited. Obviously, we thought he's going to turn into he was the top starting pitcher in the league at that point, but he was pitching to a 2.31 ERA with 10 strikeouts per 9 innings. And next up,
so you had Severino, and who was your other pick? You had Andrew Miller, correct?
Andrew Miller from 16.
Andrew Miller from 16. Okay.
And then he got traded.
Yes, he did. All right. So there's one position for some reason or another that hasn't been touched yet. I think it's because it's kind of deep. Do I want an outfielder? I think I want an outfielder. Do I want an outfielder? Let's go with 2004 Matsui. I don't think I have 2004.
Nice.
Matsui is, I mean, he was only an All-Star, I believe that one time with the Yankees, which
this was
his best season,
this
but
was his best
he was
season.
only an All-Star one time, which kind of shocked me when I was looking at it. He had he was an All-Star in 03 as well. My bad. But 17 home runs at the break, 138 OPS, plus 905 OPS. Really good. Always, could be counted on in the clutch. And honestly, just like one of my favorite players, just looking back on Yankees teams, just a lefty bat that you always want up, which is just something that we all kind of have a soft spot for. So I'm going to go with that.
He also had a really good postseason for the Yankees that year. Everyone forgets about it because they blew the 3-0 lead. But Hideki Matsui was good the entire postseason.
He was good his whole time there. He was really, really good, and he played a ton of games for him. Even in
Derek Jeter said he was one of the best teammates he ever had was Hideki Matsui.
Yeah, he was really. I don't think he's talked about enough.
He definitely got a lot of love because he won the MVP of the World Series, and then he came back and got the little mini celebration and everything. But one of the best free agent signings in Yankee history by far.
Yeah, it's also tough to follow up those '90s Yankees and have a spot.
Yeah, and he always he fit the bill with those '90s Yankees of being that clutch player too. That Jeter, that Posada, that Bernie, that you always wanted up, and
Alrighty. I'm going to do it. I'm going to dig into the second base position. There's a lot of good options there. I'm going to go 2012 Robbie Cano. He was just that was like a dark time coming off of that 2009 run, and we were just in the decline, and losing him was a part of it. But he was just so much fun to watch coming up. Jeter's obviously, the guy, but I wasn't really attentively watching games, when he first came up. So Cano was one of the first guys that I really saw come up and play a ton. Obviously we all know how it ended up. But that year, 313, 374, 578, 20 home runs, 953 OPS, 160 OPS plus, which is pretty nice from the second base position. So I'm going Robbie.
A couple of things on Robinson Cano. You're right. He was the Yankees' best player in that 4 or 5 year stretch until he left. And number two, to illustrate how good the 2009 lineup was, Robinson Cano would hit 7th or 8th usually.
Yeah. Next pick, I think I'm going to go start filling out that outfield a little more. I'm going to go 2000, making sure I'm not taking from the same year, 2005.
I don't even know the rules anymore.
Is it just Yankees? 2005, Gary Sheffield. I had to do it.
Yuck.
I had to do it.
Do not
as
like
a kid,
Gary Sheffield.
As a kid in 2005, I was 10 years old in Little League, and Gary Sheffield was blessing my television with his batting
Did you do the bat
stance,
wiggle?
and all I ever
Did you do
wanted
the bat
to
wiggle?
do. Of course I did the bat wiggle.
Right answer.
Of course. I was obsessed with it. I know he's not. It's not the greatest, first half statistically, but I have a soft spot for him, so I have to take him.
I like it. I like the bat wiggle. How do you not love the bat wiggle? So pitching is tough because, starting pitching, there's just a lot of good options. First base, I don't need. I guess I'm going to go grab my last outfield spot. And because there's only one left, I could say this. Give me 1980 Reggie Jackson. Just get all the clutch players here. 165 OPS plus at the break. It was his best season with the Yankees. He hit 289, 20 home runs, 53 RBIs. Another guy you always want up. We're just going to create the clutchest lineup of all time in Gary Sanchez. So, we'll have a good time with that.
Clutchest lineup of all time and also Gary Sanchez. All right, so I need to fill out the rest of my infield. I need to fill out second, third, and short. First pick I'm going with is Scott Brocious, 1998. He was the Yankees' number 9 hitter, and he hit 309, 380, 462 with a 123 OPS plus. Speaking of clutch, Scott Brocious, always a clutch player. And then for my next pick, I'm not going to pick shortstop because I don't need one right now. So I will go with a second baseman, and I will pick 19 LeMahieu. That's obviously who I got to go with. 900 OPS, 336 batting average. DJ's first season with the Yankees, it was not his best. Best full season, obviously, because 2020 was a short season. So yeah, I'll call DJ LeMahieu's 19 so far his best season with the Yankees.
Yeah, LeMahieu. Looking at the second base options, I didn't pick a second base yet, and I'm not going to pick a second base now because that would be stupid. But obviously Soriano's there. Glaber is there. He had 900 OPSs twice going into the break, which is crazy. Even this year, you can make a case he's an all-star. His OPS is over 7. He had 4 hits last night. He had I know he grounded into the double play to end it, but really, really good. So I'm gonna go starting pitching. I just don't know where I'm gonna go yet. I think I know what I'm gonna do. I just want to check it. 20. Oh, do I have that year? Yeah, I do. I'm gonna go with starting pitching 2011. Yeah, 2011 CC Sabathia. Horse, we love CC. Talk about guys you want on the mound, man. Obviously I was young when he was really good, but even I remember in 2017, 2018 being like, yeah, put that guy on the mound. Like, I don't care. I'll take my chances. Mm-hmm. So, 13-4 going into the break, which is just, not that win-loss matters, but it's fun. 2.72 ERA, 126 strikeouts. Really, really good. The big lefty. Everybody loves CC.
So it's interesting. Well, Ilya, you have not taken a starting pitcher yet, right? But
no.
None of us so far have taken any starters from the 90s or the early 2000s. And I think it's because the numbers don't look as impressive because the ERAs and everything are just so out of whack. But, I don't know, Ilya, I'll let you take your starting pitcher. You might pick a guy from that era. But the Yankees, between Clemens, Pettit, Cone, Wells, Jimmy Key, they had a ton of all-star pitchers in that era, all having fantastic seasons.
Yeah, it's tough in the steroid era to go up against, guys around it that have the stats and the numbers.
Well, that's why I think we got to look at ERA plus, because it normalizes it. And I think what we'll find is they were comparable to some of the guys we're seeing in today's game with relative to the league.
Yeah, there actually were a few years. David Cone had some years that even just right off the bat matchup or lineup.
Even had it when you get a little bit later into the 2000s.
You could argue Pettit was a better pitcher his second go around with the Yankees than he was.
Yeah,
statistically, yeah, you could.
Not the third go around with the Yankees. The second go around with the Yankees.
Jimmy Key too, 93 and 94 too. Both of them are pretty good years. 93 being the better one, but. Right,
Ilya,
where
you
are we
are
at?
up.
Who's up?
Yeah,
Is it
you
me?
have 2 picks.
I think. Well, all 3 spots have been. I think that's. You want me to just take all 3 because I think you guys have taken your spots. Just for
Yeah,
time's sake,
I just
hopefully.
need a catcher and a shortstop at this point, and I only have like 3 guys to pick from. So yeah, just fill out
Mike
your
Stan.
roster.
All right. All right. I'm gonna
Just take Phil Necro for the meme online, please.
I can't do it now. I can't do it now. Let's do. Did I already do?
What year are you looking at?
I'm just double checking my ears. All right. I'm gonna do 2010 Nick Swisher.
Oh, that's fun.
We had to campaign. Do you remember campaigning to get him into the All-Star team?
I do remember that. Another guy, just like Gary Sheffield. We have like a lot of like really weird outfielders that have like come through this team, like really strange outfielders. And although like Nick Swisher and Beltran and Gary Sheffield are obviously like a tier above, some of the guys we've thrown out there, they're just fun names to me, and I think it's fun to look back on. Starting pitcher. I'm gonna go 21 Garrett Cole. Keep it recent.
Well, yeah, because he pitched
268.
most of that first half with sticky stuff. So
Of course, yeah. 20 where was it? 2.68 ERA, 147 Ks.
That's a lot of strikeouts.
Under 1 dot walks and hits. Whip, which is nice to see, especially from a starter. And then just to finish it off real quick, I'm taking Clay Holmes from this year. That 08 Rivera season that was taken, he's only 7 saves behind him, and he wasn't even the closer to begin the year. .46 ERA, 8.30 ERA plus. This does not include last.
Well, first 81 games, so you kind of get out easy with that one. No, he's great.
It's just unbelievable.
He's great. All right, so I guess I'm up, and I will also finish off my team. So I need first base and second base. Luckily, 2 positions that have a lot of options. So for second base, I really don't think you could go wrong. When you look at these numbers, they're very, very similar. But I am going to... Wait, can I do that? Let me just check my U's. Yeah, I'm going to go with 2002 Alfonso Soriano. 315 average, 20 home runs, 51 RBIs, 918 OPS from second base, 142 OPS plus. I actually went back and forth between him and 2018 Glaber. They're very, very similar players. Like, they are, within 1 home run of each other, within 1 RBI of each other. Soriano gets him on the OPS a little bit. Glaber's OPS plus is technically a little bit higher. So I don't think there's a wrong answer, but I am going to go 2002 Soriano. And then for first base, again, between 2 players, you're between Tino Martinez and Tex.
is it 97?
It would be 97
Tino?
Tino, as long as I can put 97 in my team, which I can. So
You're good, though.
it is going to be 97 Tino. The 28 home runs, 78 RBIs at the breaks. Like, what? That's a full season for a lot of players. He had the 157 OPS plus, which is better by a wide margin than Tex. I mean, I love Teixeira when he was on the team, but I mean, Tino, how do you deny Tino?
This is 97 is my first real vivid memory of watching the home run derby. Tino won the home run derby that year, and it was in Cleveland, and it was at like 2:00 in the afternoon. And I just remember, being home in the middle of the summer watching the home run derby. And it's like, I don't know when they started airing it in prime time, probably not too far after this. I remember watching the 99 home run derby at Fenway Park in prime time. I was at summer camp and we got to all watch it. But the 97 was like in the middle of the afternoon, and I remember watching that. Fun times. all right, so I need to fill out my roster, right? I need to take a catcher and I need to take a shortstop. First of all, catcher going with Trevino from this year. We've talked at length at why Trevino has been one of the most valuable Yankees on the roster so far this year. So well deserving. I loved watching the reaction video of him finding out that he was an all-star. Really, really cool stuff to see. And then for shortstop, literally only Derek Jeter is on here. So you said Bucky Dent was an all-star at some point? I don't see him on here.
I didn't throw him on just because I figured between him, Glaber.
So I have to take a 2010s era Jeter, correct?
Go with it.
Yeah.
All right.
2014, just to honor him.
I've not taken a 2012. But yeah, retirement tour Derek Jeter. Put him on the list for me.
You want 2014?
Why not? Sure. 2 home runs at the break, 85 OPS plus. Just no range at shortstop, although he did make a nice play in the first inning, which I think McCutcheon hit it and then beat out the throw. I remember tweeting out something along the lines of, "You couldn't have pulled up short, McCutcheon." Jeez, but okay, yeah. Retirement.
How much longer do you guys think Jeter could have played if his body didn't start to really go on him without them being like, "You got it, you got to get off the shortstop,
That's the thing
bro.
for every.
You got it."
Oh, you're saying. Okay, so what level are we talking about? Are we talking about 2012 level player where he was still a better than league average offensive player, or are we talking below league average?
I mean, honestly, the answer might not change regardless when you think about it.
I think that when was his contract up? His contract was up after 14,
so.
Right? I think if he had a decent season that year and said, "I want to still play," the Yankees would have had to offer him a 1-year contract. And I think he would have been the quote-unquote opening day shortstop, but he would have been DHing quite often.
Fair enough. So you think that was his last year at shortstop? I mean, he played until the end.
I mean, Brian Cashman was ready to move on in 2011.
And then he put up 2012, which is impressive in itself.
I know, but he begrudgingly gave him a 3-year contract.
I remember. I do remember that.
Jeter was going to play as long as he wanted to play. I don't think he was hanging on at short anymore, especially because that was when they were starting to bring in, more controllable younger guys and see what they had rather than, just bring in the top dollar guys.
It was also clear that the team was no longer that era. The Jeter, Mariano, Pettit era was officially over at that point, and the reinforcements with Sabathia and Teixeira were nearing the end of their careers, at least contributions wise. So it was clear the 2013-14 teams were not going to win the World Series.
Before we finish up, do you guys want to talk about a little bit of guys that didn't get picked that had really good seasons?
Yeah.
So I have on here, I think 2010 Andy Pettit, totally underrated. Let me pull up his numbers. I know I had it written down here. 2010 Pettit, 11-2 at the break. 2.70 ERA, only 87 strikeouts, but that wasn't his game. And, I mean, how old was he in 2010? He was not young.
55 years old.
Also, 2014 Tanaka, just because we love to talk about Tanaka when we have a chance to. 12-4 with a 2.51 ERA. Don't remember him ever being that good, but he was also an All-Star in 2019. Do you remember? He was a replacement with a 3.86 ERA. Love that. Love that.
I don't remember that, but sure.
Every second of it. Relievers. There were so many. I mean, 2014 Betances was disgusting. 2011 D-Rob. Hopefully he's an all-star with the Yankees next year. No. He could be. 2019 Chapman was an all-star. He was kind of, he's Chapman, so he did have a good start to the year. 1981 Goose Gossage. I mean, one of the great reliever seasons
this year.
And even 86 Rigetti was just a fun name that I pulled up. And then Niekro, Key, and Cone, all pitchers that we didn't touch. Oh, and Ricky Hendrickson, not being picked by anybody. Probably the only outfielder that is worth noting that nobody picked.
Yeah. Those are all. Yeah, it's amazing how the Yankees have been able to find elite reliever after elite reliever for going on.
It's
3
Brian
decades.
Cashman's single
It's
best
like-
attribute.
By far. Whether it's signing players, developing players, failing to develop starters that turn into elite relievers, like whatever it is, they have been able to get elite relief pitching. Ironically, the period that they didn't have elite relief pitching behind Rivera was when they needed it most, was like 2004, 5, 6, when they were just searching for someone to pitch the 8th inning. Tom Gordon, Kyle Farnsworth, Jabba Chamberlain, like Scott Proctor, all of these names would come in and burn out so fast. And then it was just like whenever you got to the playoffs, it was cross your fingers that the Yankees don't blow the game in the 7th and 8th inning before they can get it to Rivera. All good stuff.
Just
all
for
right.
the record, real quick, I would just like to note that Brett Gardner's 2015 OPS plus is higher than Giancarlo Stanton's OPS plus this year. So bring him back.
What was it? Hold on. What was it?
He was 142 OPS
So-
plus for Gardner
Oh my
at the
God.
half
So wait,
in
hold on. Can we just talk
2015.
about this? Because when I was looking
Yeah.
at these numbers and I was looking at the full year numbers, he had a pretty mediocre 2015 season. So how bad was his? How bad
That
was
was
his
classic
second half?
Gardner.
Oh,
Classic
gosh.
Gardner was really good in the first half, really bad in the second half. That was classic
I'm gonna-
Gardner. His second half was probably god awful.
2015?
Probably burned out so fast.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Second
weird.
half, 206, 593 OPS. OPS plus, I always get confused. League 87.
It's
Yeah. Really bad. All right, so quickly, let's finish this up and run down our teams. My team is 2021 Trevino, 1987 Mattingly, 2019 LeMahieu, 98 Brocious, 2014 retirement tour Derek Jeter, 2011 Curtis Granderson, 94 O'Neill, 88 Winfield, 2018 Sevy, and 2016 Andrew Miller.
So I have
Logan, what's yours?
2019 Gary Sanchez, 1997 Tino Martinez, 2002 Alfonso Soriano, 2007 A-Rod, 2006 Jeter, 1998 Williams, 2004 Matsui, 1980 Reggie Jackson, 2011 CC, and 2008 Mariano.
all right. And then we got 2000 Jorge Posada, 02 Jason Giambi, 2012 Robbie Cano, 1994 Wade Boggs, 99 Jeter, 17 Judge, 05 Gary Sheffield, 2010 Nick Swisher, and then 21 Garrett Cole, and 22.
Just for the record,
Mahomes.
I think I have the most players from the old time. It looks like, although Andrew, your outfield is pretty.
No. Yeah.
I'm like
you have
2000s
two guys.
Great, for some reason.
If I was being completely objective, I would vote Logan's team as the best team and not my team. But for the sake of this, gonna say
Well,
my
you
team
don't
is
you don't
clearly
have
the
A-Rod
best
and
team.
Jeter
You guys
roaming
suck.
the left side of your infield, crashing into each other on pop-ups, staring daggers through each other's heads. Did you see the commercial for the documentary
true.
of him talking about
I did.
A-Rod?
And A-Rod was like, A-Rod went up to him, was like, "Are we good?" And Jeter's like,
Fine, I guess."
Not really. I guess
so
I'm
excited.
really excited to watch the documentary. We're gonna talk about it. I know they're doing it
Mhm.
episodic.
It's seven.
Right?
I think it's
Is
7
it-
parts.
yeah. That's too
I
many.
think it's 7 parts, and I think they're doing one a week.
Ugh, so
I mean,
7
the man in the
weeks?
so I don't know if you guys watched the Tom Brady one. I did. 10 parts, 10 parts 2 a week. No, 10 parts 1 a week.
Are you a
I'm not.
Are you a
I'm not
Patriots
at,
fan?
Not at all.
Are you a Tom Brady fan?
So
Why the F did you watch
New
that?
New Year's break rolled around. I wanted something to watch, and it was. I cannot recommend it enough. So good. It was that good.
I love Tom Brady. Okay, Tom Brady is by far one of my favorite athletes of all time. Okay,
I
haven't
am
seen one
so
minute
I
of that
I waited a
documentary.
while to watch it. I binged it. I didn't watch it each week. I watched like the first 7 parts, I think, in 3 days, which I don't do that. But it was so good, couldn't walk away from the TV. I had such a I don't know, part of it was the early ones I don't remember. I wasn't alive, so it was cool to see. And then the later ones just remembering, like, God, this guy is absolutely unbelievable. Like,
He's the best athlete of our
Pretty-
generation,
yeah.
of our time, of our lives. Best athlete. I know Michael Jordan was also alive. During
I did
the
not
90s,
watch
but I argue
Michael
Tom
Jordan's
Brady-
documentary, though.
Last Dance. The Last Dance was fantastic. That was also came out during COVID, so there was like nothing on. Last Dance was awesome. I'm not an NBA fan. I was never really an NBA fan, but obviously everyone would watch Michael Jordan back in the day. But what Tom Brady has done in the NFL is more impressive than what Michael Jordan.
I think we
did in
should
the
start
NBA.
a sports talk podcast. NFL, NBA. No.
That's gonna wrap it up. We will put out our teams on social. Let us know what team you think is best. Let us know what guys we missed. Let us know if you misunderstood the rules as I did to start this thing. And Scott and I will be back talking to you. TBD if we do an episode after the Red series once again, like last week with the Pirates series right before Red Sox series. Who really cares? Although if Clay Holmes keeps plunking guys in the shoulder with the bases loaded, then we might need to do an emergency episode. We'll talk to you guys in a couple days.